Why become a male friendship coach? It's a good question. I became a male friendship coach because I truly believe in my heart of hearts, the most valuable gift you can give someone is the gift of being seen, of being understood. And, for years, I thought that meant just saying, oh, I understand, or I get it, and then giving my own personal story to show that I in fact got it. But what that did was, it came across as me hijacking the conversations and, feeling like my story, my experience is more valuable than theirs. My intention was to show them I understood, but how it came across was that I actually didn't get it at all. Otherwise, I wouldn't have shared a story that was so far from what they were experiencing. And that was not something I naturally learned. In Taiwan, I would use this technique a lot when I lived there. I would try so hard to make friends. And it was really important to me, to try to connect with these people because I was in a foreign country, I didn't speak the language, and I was away from my family and friends. I wanted to, I wanted to become as much of a local as I could. And it's there that I realized my communication style was not working. In my enthusiasm, I would dominate conversations. And what happened is people would kind of stop including me, and I would not know why. I'd make friends, and then I'd lose them. And I'd make more friends, and then I'd lose them. And I really felt something was wrong with me. It wasn't until a friend of mine who I met, he was American living in the States, I asked them this. And he told me quite honestly, it's like, Cameron, you're dominating. You don't actually listen. You think you're listening by sharing these stories. And when people are being vulnerable and they're looking for ways to connect, you just kind of walk over that and people get tired of it. And that hurt a lot to hear. That hurt a lot. But he was right. He was completely right. So I really made it my mission to learn, how do I give someone space? They want to be vulnerable. They want to deepen the friendship. How do I give them space to do that? And I learned that it always came back to empathy. There's lots of written about it. Carl Rogers, Brene Brown, Chris Voss. It always, any sales marketing book, Joe Polish, it always comes back to empathy. Making the other person feel seen, demonstrating that you get it so that the other person knows you get it. And as much as I want to say it was just changing my language, it wasn't. It was a complete perspective shift, a whole new way of listening. I had to stop listening to speak, to share, to prove my value, to be interesting, and listen to understand. I stopped being, it felt inauthentic at first. It really did. It felt like I was betraying who I was. That, part of me would rebel. If this is who you were, Cameron, you would naturally be a better listener. And let me tell you this about authenticity. Authenticity, as I learned, is not about your behavior. Authenticity is about your values. And you can change your behavior without compromising your values. Let's keep going. Change your behavior without changing your values. So it was really hard. But eventually, you know, the friends would start sticking around. You know, the friends would, it's so funny, they would feel I was interesting just because I was interested. You know, I started off with so much of my identity being about being a musician. I had gone to music school, I was in Taiwan producing Mandarin a cappella music. But by the end of it, the 30 friends that came to my going away party, none of them even knew I was a musician until my a cappella group performed at my going away party. I mean, they knew I was a musician, but that wasn't how they knew me. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I became a male friendship coach because I learned that these are all skills. To make someone feel seen, to give someone the space to be heard, it's an active choice. And it requires a lot of unlearning, a whole different perspective shift. And you have to do that alone. It's really hard. You know, I say male friendship coaching, but these skills, you know, they can apply to anything. But in my experience with my relationship with my dad, you know, growing up, it's a lot of men were not raised to know how to do that, or even think it was something we should even consider learning. And perhaps, you know, where you are right now, perhaps you are feeling lonely. You're feeling disappointed in your friendships. Your friends keep letting you down. You feel like you're the guy that everyone says they're too busy to hang out with, and then you see them on Instagram 2 hours later out with their friends, knowing they didn't invite you. Maybe you're the person that people feel like they can say they're allowed to be flaky with. And that, you know, it's exhausting. You become hopeless. It feels like a betrayal. It feels like you're not enough. And I'm here to tell you, you are. It takes work. It takes effort to learn it. But once you can use empathy to make others feel seen, I promise you this, you can be friends with anyone. My name is Cameron. This is Mempathy. And thank you so much for joining me on my walk today. Bye.